What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Kinstretch class brought to you by Stretch Effects. My name is Coach Luke, and I'll be taking you through today's 30-minute T-spine focused Kinstretch class. So when you look at the spine, right, we have three main sections of the spine. We have our cervical spine, side here. We have our lumbar spine, which goes to about a little bit above the belly button, and then the section in the middle is our thoracic spine. So that's the one that happens to a lot of people when they compare what's called kyphotic. If we're at a desk block, sitting in the car, and you get this forward posture here. That's, for most times, it's because you spend a lot of time in thoracic flexion that we don't get enough extension at that section of the spine, right? But what happens is a lot of times we lose the ability to control those areas of the spine, right? So each individual vertebrae has the ability to flex and extend. So the more control, the more ability we have to control those areas of the spine, not only is it going to be easier for us to address those movement imbalances, but the more you're going to be able to move them when you're doing your physical activities, whether you're in the gym, whether you're outside, whether you're playing with the kids, no matter what you're doing, you want to be able to have control of each vertebrae of the spine. It takes a lot of practice, but we're going to introduce how to address thoracic spine flexion, extension, imbalances here today, and then really just kind of looking at our cars, we're going to look at some cat-cow work, and then going into some work with a band. If you have one, I would recommend you grab a band for today's class. If you don't have a band, that's okay. You can take like a long rolled up towel, rolled up t-shirt, and we're just going to really be using it to help us gain awareness for different areas of the spine. And then we'll also be using a pen to do some very specific spinal work. So we're just going to introduce those things today. So I really just encourage you to do your best with them, but keeping in mind that it's going to take a lot of practice and time to get those things to really make changes. So we're just going to start right into some cat-cows. So we've done this before. We're just going to start, and we're just going to work the full spine here just to kind of get things moving, and then we'll work into what's called a lumbar block. So we focus on just the thoracic spine. So I'm going to be up in my cat-cow, right? So this would be the cow. Let me start the cat. Trying to tuck my tailbone as much as I can. Right? So this would be untucked, trying to really tuck my tailbone. Trying to pull my chin in my chest, drive the upper back to the sky. This is my cat flexion, and then I'm just going to very slowly work into my cow, getting some thoracic extension, and lumbar extension, and cervical extension. As it gears the chest, with the tailbone, with the chin. So two more, and go right back to my cat. Making sure my shoulders are over my hands, my hips like over my knees. Up, trying to round out my back as much as I can. Slowly work back into my cow. Big press away from the floor so I'm not tempted to shrug my shoulder blades together right now. Keep pressing so I can get as much true extension from my thoracic spine as I can, and we're not masking it by doing more scap contraction, right? So here, one more time, just nice and slow. It's my cat. We've done the spine class with us before. We've done a segmental, which is more directly kind of looking at the whole spine, looking at flexion extension. So now we're just looking just to get things kind of moving, get things warmed up a little bit, get the spine moving, and woken up. Especially if you've been sitting a lot today. We're going to go one more time. Nice and slow, keep pressing away from the floor. Big lift the chest, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. As we go one more time into our cow. Try to get as much extension as you can. Pull the back of your head and your tailbone closer together. Nice and easy. Make sure you're not working through into any pain, especially at the spinal level. And relax. Okay, so we go right into what's called thoracic cat-cow or a lumbar blocked thoracic cat-cow. So I'm just going to be here, sitting on my heels. If you can't get to this much knee flexion or this much ankle plantar flexion, you can just take a block, you can throw it right under your butt, or take two blocks, whatever you need for you, just to allow you to sit comfortably here, okay? So that's going to allow us to really focus on the thoracic spine, because as I sit back, it's going to take my lumbar spine into some flexion, and it's going to allow me to block off that area of the spine, so I can really just focus on the upper section of my back. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to work right into cat, excuse me, driving up into flexion, just trying to press the back of my spine through the shirt as I try to round out my upper back as much as I can. Pull my chin to my chest. Hang out here for a second, and then we're just going to slowly work into cow. So I'm trying to now lift my chest. You can lift the chin, that will be cervical extension, but that can help feed into some thoracic extension. But ultimately, I just want to lift the logo. So I got a logo on my shirt. I'm trying to lift and show that logo off straight ahead. So get it here. I'm thinking continue to try to get some tension in the shoulders, right? So I don't want to squeeze my shoulder blades together. I'm kind of press away from the floor, but not so much that I'm just doing more protraction, right? So I'm pressing away, but I'm also trying to lift my chest. So that kind of creates, it won't be much. You don't have a whole lot of cervical extension or thoracic extension, but we're trying to just really try to reverse directions. Thoracic extension into thoracic flexion. Okay. So 2. And reverse cow. Show the logo of your shirt forward. Lift that chest. Pull those shoulders back just a little bit. Look straight ahead. Just try to squeeze the backside, upper back here. Lift. Good. Let's go one more. Thoracic flexion. Good. Up. Good. Up. Good. Up. Last one. Extension. Lift that chest. Pull the shoulders back. This is something that we will address with our band or a towel if you have one a little bit later. And okay, so let's get into some thoracic cars. So if you got a block, we'll take this block and go under your knees, so you can go this way, or the easiest way would be this way, because that will give us a wider base of the knees. So that will allow us to have a little bit more control over our thoracic spine because we have a little bit more balance, okay? So if you have a second block, you take that block and you can give it a nice big bear hug here, or if you don't have a second block, if you have one block, use the block for your legs, and then you can grab like a pillow, something, a rolled up towel, rolled up blanket, something you can squeeze onto to just give you a little bit more force capacity here, okay? So I'm in this position here, so I'm in my tall kneeling position. My glutes are tight, ribs are down, core is engaged. I'm going to take this block here, so throw it right to where the bottom side is right on the rib cage. We want to be able to kind of use that to help us flex down. Again, we don't want to flex through the whole spine, right? So the rib cage tells us where we're kind of flexing from, so right about here. So there, I'm going to hug the block. Chin stays in the chest the whole time. Squeeze my glutes, squeeze the block, squeeze this block in, and squeeze this block nice and tight. So here, body's tight, full body tension, and then I'm just going to slightly flex my thoracic spine, and then rotate, bend on that side, keep my chin in my chest, and extend over the top, lift the chest, keep that chin in the chest, rotate over the top. I'm going to flex to my right, take my right shoulder, rotate slightly across the body, and then just pull those elbows in and rotate through the center. Let's go one more time. Rotate, flex, extend over the top. Big chest as I flex to my left. Right shoulder crosses, squeeze in, elbow squeeze down. And back to center. Let's come up. Chin stays in the chest. Reset the tension on the block. Glutes and core beneath you. Chin stays down. Let's flex. Rotate so my hips stay still. Laterally flex. Extend over the top. Laterally flex to my right. Left shoulder. Cross, pull those elbows into the ribs. And rotate through. We got one more here. Rotate, flex, extend, get tall, keep the chin in the chest, laterally flex, rotate, Nose down. And through. And relax. Okay? So it's 2 reps. Thoracic bars each side. What we're going to do from here is you're going to grab your pen. So this is going to take a little bit of explanation. So really what we're using this for is going to be to create more thoracic extension awareness, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to lay on your chest, and we're just going to go for multiple positions here. So we're going to have it about just below the collarbone, right? So think inch or 2 below the collarbone. So in position 1, or position 2, we just kind of like mid upper chest, and then position 3 will be top of the rib cage. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take that pen. It's going to seem kind of weird first, right? So bear with me for a second. Take that pen, and then you're just going to throw it right under the chest, just so you can feel like you're pressing down onto that pen. So you want to have it, you want to be able to feel where that pen is pressing into, and then that's going to be your fulcrum point to create some thoracic extension, right? So if you've never done this before, it's going to feel like you're completely lost, and there's no kind of awareness at those sections, at those areas, and that's totally okay. The more you do it, the more you practice it, the more awareness you're going to have. What we're going to do is we're just going to go 5 lift-offs from here, super slow, 5 here, and then we'll go 5 at the top of the rib cage. What you want to think about is you want to try to not lift off of the pen. I want to use that pen to be the point where I'm lifting from. Right, so I want to lift everything from the pen and above. Right, so it's almost like I'm trying to roll the pen forward as I extend up. Okay, so keep the pressure down, but use all tissue on the posterior side of the body to lift up and squeeze and feel like you're trying to push it out forward. And then we'll just come right back down, collect ourselves, reset the tension, right? So even though we're laying on our stomach and we're, relatively safe, right? You don't need to like really brace that tight if you don't feel like you need to. I want to think full body tension, right? So I want to squeeze my hands, I want to squeeze my ribs, I want everything nice and tight, and then only extend from where that pen is pressing into and above. Okay, so 5 reps, 5 reps, 5 reps. Okay? So I'm laying on the stomach. My chin will be just facing down towards the floor. My arms are at my side so I can feel the pen where it's touching. It'll be nice and braced, right? So arms are squeezing, legs are squeezing, body's nice and tight, and then we'll just do our first reps. So just think, lift just where that pen is pressing from. You should feel like the upper back side of the, right behind the shoulder blade of the traps, and back down. That's 1. Go lift up. Hold. 2. See, it's not a lot of motion, right? We don't have a whole lot of thoracic extension. We just want to make sure that it's only coming from the T-spine and not the lumbar spine, right? That'll be right here. So I'm right back down. 3 more there. Tension, tension, and lift. Down. 3. And lift. Down. 4, we should be feeling it right about here, right where that pen is touching. Last one, and lift. Squeeze it, hold. And back down. Okay, so we'll drop that pen down a little bit lower in the chest now. Think about mid to upper chest. Right here, just think tight, leg squeeze, arm squeeze, and pen and lift. Now we're a little bit higher because the pen is lower in the back, or is lower in the chest. And down. 1. Tension. Lift. Down. 2. And lift. Down. 3. And lift. Squeeze it up, squeeze it up, squeeze it up. Down. 4. Last one here. Push that pen out with the body and lift. Back down. Good. Now we'll move that pen right at the top of the rib cage, right? So we got here. Lumbar spine tends to start, it's just an inch or 2 below that. So we just want to make sure we're here. So it's going to be harder to lift now because now we've got more meat, right? More of our body we're trying to lift up, right? So really try to resist using the lumbar spine and really just try to use that thoracic spine. 5 reps here with the hold. This should be the easiest one to feel the pen into. So really tuck that tailbone, get legs nice and tight, arms nice and tight into the floor, and lift. Down. 1. Lift. 2. And lift. 3. And lift. 4. Last one. And lift. And back down. Very good. Like I said, it's going to be kind of weird if you've never done it before. It's going to take a little bit of practice. The more you can practice it, the more you can kind of go over those things and create more awareness at each individual segment, the better, right? So that would be something that's just going to take a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, but the more you do it, the better it's going to become, the better it's going to feel. Okay, so let's go from here. So now set the pen aside and grab your band, right? So if you have a band, what we're going to do is you think here, and we're just going to put across it once. So you have this X in the band there, and then we're just going to come around the back. So we're going to focus on the thoracic, right? So again, you can get back into this position here. If you go on the band, it's okay. Just grab a, like I said, grab a towel, grab a long sleeve shirt, something that you can just go and wrap around the back side of your body. We're just going to be just like this, right? So we're just going to use this band to help us create awareness. When we use the pen for the front side of the body, now we use the band to create awareness at the back side of the body, right? So you can take it here. If you want, you can so you can set up a different position, so it's where the hands are a little bit more kind of centered, in the band, right? So sometimes people like it here, sometimes people like it more kind of in the fingers. You just want it to be comfortable to the point where it comes over the top, and we're just going to start. We're going to go multiple different positions here, but you can change. You can literally go 1 to each individual segment of the spine. We're going to go 3 different areas here. So we'll start kind of upper T-spine, mid T-spine, and lower T-spine. But keep in mind, you have 12 segments at your thoracic spine, so you have a lot of areas that you can train from, right? So we're just going to start here, sit on the feet, and then we're just going to have hands right out in front, just like this. Just sit back on those heels, take the band to the upper T-spine. Again, if you have a towel, just pull on the towel, put the hands here, arms right out in front. All we're going to be doing, the mat here, all we're going to be doing is the same thing we started with our thoracic. My X is in the center of my back here. I want to make sure you're crossed up, perfect, and there. So just like we started our thoracic cat-cow, all I'm going to be doing though, instead of doing the full cat-cow, I just want to think just flex. You're going to be very little motion, right? You're not going to see a whole lot of motion going on here, but you're just going to flex into the band, right? So I'm just here. I just want to think press the spine into the band, just where the band is pressing into, and I'm going to work to pull off the band, but that band is also going to help create some awareness to almost pull me down as well. So I'm trying not to just let it drop, right? So I just want to flex into the band and pull. So you see that difference, right? Just pull off of the band, and then we're going to do extension. We're not going to go with the cervical extension, just chin stays down, chest points forward, and now flex into the band and extend off of the band. The higher you go, I found just working with a lot of people, the higher you go up in the thoracic spine, for most people, the harder it is to have awareness. So if this is tough for you, that's all that means is that you just need more practice, more repetition there, more time. But the more you can spend, more time you can spend working on your thoracic flexion extension, the better your upper back is going to feel, the better your shoulders are going to move, the better your shoulder blades are going to move. One more there. So flex into the band. And let's extend off of it. And then let's lower the band. So we'll go about mid-T-spine, so it's slightly easier to get a feel for. Hands are down in front. I'm still blocking myself off. If you want to go out this way a little more, you certainly can. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. And like I said, if the band feels pointing, like kind of pressing into your hands, you can always go up more of the fingers, more down towards the thumb, whatever works best for you. So from here, I'm going to work into flexion. So it's going to be a little bit easier to feel. So just with the band pressing into, I want to flex the spine, so press up into the band here. Not full thoracic flexion, that's the advantage pressing. And then from there, just try to pull the spine up. Just trying to extend, keep the hands where they are, try not to squeeze my shoulder blades. Just press the chest forward as I extend and flex. 5 reps there. Extend, 5 seconds down. Flex. Extend. Flex. Extend. Flex. One. Way. Off that band. And relax. Okay, last one. Go lower. So this is one where if you want to go, you can come around, get your hands out and under the band, just like that. Over here. So I'm going to go right below the shoulder blades. Hands up here. So hands are still anchoring, but now just the band is on the inside. If you want to keep it in the same spot, you certainly can. And then we're just going to work on the same things. Flexing. So for most people, the lumbar spine tends to do pretty well. And extending. So the closer you get to the lumbar spine, the easier the extended be. So in the future, if you want to start where it's a little bit easier, and then you can work up to that, that's certainly okay. We just from top down, just to get a feel for each individual segment. So I'm trying to pull, I'm trying to extend, so I'm trying to extend off through that cow. Now flex into it there. So this is helping us get a little bit more awareness at these 3 sections. Again, these are not the only 3 sections. You can go 1 second at a time. Each session, you can work on just 1 second if you like. All we're trying to do is use the band to not only provide some resistance, but more so to provide just some awareness to create motion at one individual segment. Just be aware, try not to move the whole thoracic spine, right? You're just trying to do just one individual segment. It'll probably be less motion than you think, right? Flex. Flex. This one. Extend. Pull off that band. And relax. Okay. Pull that band off to the side. So from here, let's just grab our blocks again. Let's go back to some full thoracic cars. 3 reps each side this time now. Now we work a little bit of extension from and flexion with the band and the pen. There's some cars and work more of a lumbar locked, more thoracic focus cat-cow. We're just going to give you some full-on T-spine cars again just to kind of finish things off. Okay? So squeeze that block in, squeeze the glutes, ribs down, squeeze the block up at the top. Bottom side of the block is right on the top of the rib cage. That's where we go last and lift off, right? So from here, chin in my chest, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the block, and rotate, flex. Extension should feel a little more aware, a little more motion going on there. We're going to laterally flex, rotate across, and come through. We're just going to tick-tock back and forth. Let's go back to the left. Flex. And chin stays in the chest. Try to lift that chest just like we did with the pen. And one. You want to switch arms, you can. It's up to you. Second rep. Flex. Over, stay tight. Flex. Rotate. Through. Back to the left. Rotate. Flex. Extend. Flex. Rotate through. Down. Now one more each way. Rotate. Flex. Extend. Flex. Rotate. Through. Last one. Rotate. Flex. And up, chin up. Or sorry, chin down, chest up. Flex. Rotate. Through the center. And relax. Very good. Again, that was a thoracic focused Kinstretch class, so very specific to just that area of the spine. I encourage you to not only work on your thoracic spine, but your lumbar and your cervical spine as well. So doing your cars, I recommend multiple cervical, T-spine, and your cat-cow. So a full linear spine, call it. Throughout the day. The more exposure you can get to that, the better. The better everything's going to move, the better it's feel. And then you can just always work on more specific areas of the spine. With the pen, doing your lift-offs there, or with the band, doing your just more focused cat-cow on those individual segments. So more practice, the more time you spend there, the better. And I encourage you to do that as much as you can. So thank you for joining me in today's T-spine focused Kinstretch class. Hope to see you again.